Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendent who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged. I'm Addison Davis, your host, and today we have Terry Connor, the brand new superintendent in Sarasota Public Schools, here to talk about his transition and what's going on in Sarasota. Terry, thank you so very much for being with me today. You know what? Let's talk about history. We've had, over 10 years together that we've moved to many school districts from Jacksonville and Duval County. We did some cool things to Clay County. We went to Hillsborough County. In those process, from assistant principal all the way to deputy superintendent of the 7th largest school district in the nation, and now superintendent in Sarasota. How does it feel?
Well, it's a great opportunity. I feel very humbled and honored to actually serve as a superintendent. And I could tell, going back to our history, you never know how life really just that transpires and what happens through those transitions that really prepares you for a role like a superintendent. Going from Jacksonville, going to then Clay County, and then to Hillsborough County, each of those very different transitions has really, really given me some experiences, some successes, some failures that have helped me transition very successfusly in these first 100 days as superintendent of Sarasota County. So it's been truly humbling, honoring, and it's just been really fun. It's been a great transition to come into a school district that is historically been a very high-performing district in many ways, but is primed and ready to go above and beyond where they're at, and to be able to lead that effort is truly an honor.
Yeah, so you heard a couple things there. He learned a lot of what not to do with me, but a lot to do to be a great leader.
A lot more of what to do with you, I would say.
All right, so, close to 100 days being in it, coming up, being a teacher, you taught science, you did some cool things for kids in 3 school districts. Did you ever think you'd be a superintendent?
Never once as a kid did I ever think I would even be in education. I started out in computer science. That was where I was headed. And I just remember being in college going, is this what I want to do for 30 years, be in front of a computer all day long? And so I quickly pivoted when I was in my freshman year and went to my math science education degree, became a middle school science teacher, did that for about 4 years, and just kind of had some great mentors along the way, including yourself, that just helped me take the next step, and never thought about ultimately being a superintendent until it happened. And so I'm very thankful that I did. I'm really enjoying it.
Cool gig and well earned. And in this process, you talked about moving from Jacksonville to Clay to Hillsborough County and now to Sarasota. A lot of leaders, may not be willing to make those transitions. And You spoke about how those transitions have helped you evolve as a leader. They've helped you from a practitioner perspective. For those who are fearful to kind of leave a place they know so much, and listen, we've met some people that have been in districts for 20, 25 years that are potentially ready to lead a district or can take their skills somewhere else to enhance, but they just won't do it because they've been there for so long. Your thoughts on that?
I will tell you, I was very much of the same mindset, right? When I started in Duval County as a teacher, I saw myself retiring from Duval County. And that's the case for many people because that's where your roots are, typically where you start. And I was fortunate through, in my life that I had a little bit of flexibility, that my wife and my children were ready and willing to do that. And I know that can be a challenge for some, but my encouragement for those who maybe are having a little intimidation or fear about transferring is to be a risk taker. If you can afford the opportunity to do that, do it, because I will tell you, it has been nothing but positives in every situation where I have been a little intimidated to make that major life change. Has always paid off in dividends, and that's extremely that's been a lesson that I've learned that I think has brought me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, you know what, and for me, I thank you all the time because many of those places you went with me and you helped us get stronger and better every single day, and I thank you for your willingness, your family. I know it's not easy, but 100 days in Sarasota, all right, school district needs some stability, does great, academically, but could potentially move to challenge to become the number one school district in the state of Florida. They have that kind of potential. In your 100 days, you go into with a 100-day plan. First, let's talk about why is it important to have the 100-day plan. Then let's get into the 100-day plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is extremely important when you're transitioning into a school district, especially in the role of a superintendent, to be very deliberate, very intentional about covering many aspects and really learning as much as you can about a school district. The last thing you want to do is come into a school district and just start making changes and disrupting in a manner that's not going to be productive in the end. So I spent a lot of time in preparation before coming into the school district in delineating many initiatives. I have over 100. I have a very ambitious transition plan with over 100 items that I wanted to complete. And so far at day 92 now, I've gotten to the point where we're almost there. And so in that, I go back to saying when you're transitioning into a school district, getting to learn as much as you can, starting to build relationships with people, because we are a people business, and we only go as far as people are willing to trust us. And so starting that out very quickly was important for me, and making sure that I had a full picture, the full context of the good, the bad, the ugly of a school district, and making those connections with those who have different perspective from the inside, from the outside in the community. Being intentional about that is 100% what I believe has made this transition successful.
Sure. I think it's all about knowledge, right? Going into it, you build a 100-day plan. It's about identifying what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently. And as we look forward, we always have to understand what's, look back a little bit to be able to understand that acceleration, how far we can go, what's needed, what do we validate and sensationalize. But so coming in smart plan, overzealous, getting things done in 92 days. So we talk about, the plan's named LEAD. Why LEAD? What does it mean?
So LEAD is an acronym for listen, explore, analyze, and deliver. And I bunched that up into 4 phases and 4 categories that were truly priority areas to focus on. So LEAD, the L being listen, making sure that I'm having as multiple opportunities, whether it be through forums, whether it be through listening tours, focus groups, advisory councils, and a lot of one-on-one conversations with individuals, starting with the board, right? Those individuals are the ones who put their faith in me to come into the school district to make the positive change. And so getting every bit of information I can from their perspectives has been important. We've done 11 listening tours. We've been around the district from all facets, from the north to the south county, listening to different stakeholder groups, and then listening to students, listening to teachers, listening to support staff. All of the different perspectives has been a big chunk of the transition plan. A lot of time just sitting at the table and soaking it in.
Yeah.
Then we move into the E, and the E is the explore, and that's where we really just explored the different programming that we have that exists within the district, exploring the different departments and what's been the successes and the strengths of that department, what have been some areas of opportunity, looking at exploring audit reports, looking at exploring any evaluations that have occurred. And the A kind of coupled with that is the analyze, and that's analyzing data points, looking at it, trend data, looking at historic, academic data, discipline data, financial data. All of those things have been a big part of that. So you really break it down. You can be overwhelmed with all of what you have to analyze. And that's why, again, I go back to structuring your strategic plan, phasing it out, having goals and objectives and timelines in which you do that in a very succinct manner and intentional manner helps me in the first 100 days to get that context. And then the last part is the D, is the deliver, because after you've accumulated all this knowledge, you've analyzed it, you spoke, you're building trust with people, you can start to activate them to deliver on some of the things that are what I call low-hanging fruit, and then start planning out how you're going to deliver on long-term initiatives. And so that leads to ultimately what will come after this transition plan is a revised strategic plan. And so using all that knowledge and information through the transition is heading in that direction.
I think the power is going into the lead concept is actively engaging every stakeholder, from faith-based partners, community members, educators, support staff, leaders, school board members, all of them, to be able to really identify how Sarasota interacts every single day and where do we aspire for Sarasota to go. So your delivery side of it is all about building goals and guardrails and establishing that with a board in a community to be able to create accountability measures, to create the best systematic approach. So for those who are watching, you see, a 100-day plan is a must. And being able to put structure together will allow you to kind of put accountability and have all points of information to come in and be successful. So next step would be a final report out of the 100-day plan, and then rolling into goals and guardrails with a new strategic plan. So how far do you think that will be out after the 100-day plan is completed?
Well, it's already in its development stage right now. We're in day 92, so we're coming in and we're landing the plane on the transition plan. And so we've already, as a team, are working together to develop what I would call something that's publicly consumptible or consumption. And so we're going to put together a public-facing report, and that report will, you can go deep in a lot of these areas. And so there's so many to touch on, and there's so much that's been learned that we're going to share that in a way that I think is easily digestible, but be able to link in to go deeper into some of these aspects that the community or the public may want to know more about. So
such power in that. So any thoughts you'd give to brand new superintendents going in, or those even applying to be a superintendent, any kind of recommendations that you may have?
Yeah, well, I think you started off the conversation with be a risk taker. That to me has brought me to the point where I'm at. I could have played it safe in a lot of areas, and there's no telling where that would have led, but I'm very thankful that those risks have paid off. And so you've got to be a risk taker. When you do land the job, you've got to be intentional. You got to have a plan. And you get bombarded from all angles in this position. And if you don't have something to anchor you down with a transition, with some timelines and some initiatives that keep you centered, things get out of hand very quickly and you kind of lose focus. And so the transition plan, I think for any new superintendent, needs to be rock solid and needs to be your anchor throughout this first 100 days. And then you got to deliver, right? So whatever you learn from that, it's got to translate into action, and it's got to translate into results. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to take what I've learned so far and actually deliver on those results.
Well, you know what, Terry, thank you for being here today. We've been in Duval. We moved it from 39 to 21st. We went to Clay from 22nd to 8th. We went to Hillsborough County 35th to 19th. You've been a part of every one of those with me, doing some cool things for kids, and there's no doubt you'll be able to do that in Sarasota. We thank your family for making that transition as well. They did some cool things with us in Hillsborough and taking that risk, and Sarasota, you got one of the best, without a doubt. Thank you for being here today, Terry. Really appreciate it. We're excited to watch you, learn from you, and be a partner in this work. For next time, to be able to see you live, today we are in Tampa, Florida at the School Board Association. We're here with Terry Connor, the new superintendent of Sarasota Public Schools. Look forward to seeing you in the classrooms. Until next time.